Everybody on their feet for this one. Many of us, so you have to say it right out. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la la la. Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. Yes, I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way. To make myself some pictures, try what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la. To my happiness, you know it makes me smile, and it pleases me to have you here for just a little while we open up the spaces and try to break some chains. And if the truth is told, they will never come again. La la la, la 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 la, la la la. Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way. To take myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la.
Do we have anybody here for the first time?
First time is for you.
Laura, did you get your red heart?
Yes, I did.
Okay. We have a visitor. Laura is Cindy's friend visiting from Nevada?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
It's warm down there, huh?
A little warmer. About 50 degrees.
So with the red heart, welcome. If you're new to Unity, Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. We want you to know that no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. We know that the world is a better place when we are willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of steadfast spirit that lives within each of us, and we ask you to carry this symbol as a member of the Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you and to share your heart wherever you go. The red heart is a symbol of fellowship in the world. You can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. And I'm going to give you a little information on Laura. And say thank you because of Laura, she recommended that Cindy and Mark look up Unity. And so that made us very lucky. And our platform team today is, we have Ann on hospitality and Mary Ellen. I'm Nora, the platform person, and Sally and Jamie for singing. And Cindy, are you the board person of the week? And youth person, and she's the hat lady. And of course our wonderful speaker Joanna Gabriel, all the way from Whidbey Island. Now we're going to have our heart song.
Oh, we already did.
I hold you in.
I hold you in my heart.
You are
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Thank you. So now it's time for Unity Happenings. Most of these announcements are in your bulletin, as usual. So on July 23rd, at 10 in the morning, Dr. Gail Gray is going to be our speaker, Entering the Golden Age. That's next Sunday. And then on Friday, the 30th, we're having another Star Wars movie. And it would be so nice if we had more people to enjoy and just have fun with this, because there's always pizza and popcorn, and everybody likes pizza and popcorn and soda on a Friday night. And then on August 20th is our church picnic at NAD Park, and those are always fun, so it's shady and nice and cool, and so plan on attending that after service. And then Cindy will be giving us a board report.
Actually, that's Friday, July 28th will be the next. I know.
Well,
It's going, don't make it go any faster than it has to. It's
I know.
whoosh. We want to thank you guys for filling out the feedback forms that really are coming in handy. I didn't get them out today, but we're getting great suggestions for movies as we move forward for guest speakers and musicians, so thank you all for filling those out. Technology envelopes are on your seats if you want to make a separate contribution to go toward the technology fund. The funds we collect for the movie night, and then other special fundraisers that go directly to technology. And then the independent donations to the technology fund have been really very helpful, including Friday night's generous donations. Our current balance is $1,062. Yeah, headed toward that 6,000 number, so we still need all the help we can get, so please help. And Nora mentioned the next movie is Friday the 28th. It's the second movie of the Star Wars trilogy, Attack of the Clones. So please join us, we do have a good time. The Seattle Peace Project is ongoing through September. There's a flyer up there, we've mentioned it a few times, so if you feel you want to help, send some positive energy, some prayers toward reducing the level of crime in Seattle during this period. They're tracking, and their Unity of Seattle, Linwood, Kent, and South Sound are also on board as well, so the more the merrier for that effort. And Nora mentioned July 23rd, Gail Gray, he's going to be our speaker that day, and then he's also doing a workshop in the afternoon, and that is raising our vibrations, and he uses something called a didgeridoo, which I'm not familiar with, but I know that Joe and Debbie and Susan, and they just think that's awesome. So he's doing that, and it's a love offering, so by all means, if you're interested, please attend. I plan to. Last Saturday, the board met to discuss our vision and mission statements. When Cheryl Roret was here from Unity Northwest in April, she encouraged us to go ahead and kind of revise it. We needed a one sentence for each item to really kind of to identify where we're at now and where we want to be. So this is what the board came up with, and I'd like us all to read it together, if you would. So our mission statement is,
We are a welcoming community supporting your quest for spiritual truth.
and our vision statement,
We are a thriving community inspired to share richly diverse spiritual experiences.
And thank you very much. Yeah, we're working on it. So the board is working hard to preserve our savings account and operate under a balanced budget. In order to provide transparency to all of you, we are now including some financial status information on the back of the bulletin so that you have an idea of what is going on, and the full profit and loss statement is posted on the bulletin board each month following its approval at the board meetings. If you have any questions, please see a board member. And so now that we have the shorter, more concise mission and vision statements, we'll be taking the next step in hiring a new minister. The board is meeting on July 30th, which is a Saturday, to begin filling out the required paperwork to get the process started. Our next board meeting is August 13th. The board will continue to update you weekly, and if you have any questions or comments, see a board member. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. We had this little love note on the mailbox this morning, and it's from, I think this is Ian in Bainbridge Island. He says, "Hello, Unity. I'm returning this book I borrowed. It gave me wonderful insights. Soul Power also gave me closeness to God. I'm grateful for the Unity ministry beyond my words." And he said, "Okay, I apologize. I will keep this book a little longer. I'm renewing my lending time while giving a donation." So he left a donation with his note, and he says, "Blessings, I hope to see you soon." So that's Ian from Bainbridge Island. So, thank you, Ian. The book was Soul Power.
Now that's honesty.
Or guilt.
Time to light the Christ candle. This represents the Christ light within each of us. And then we'll say our statement.
There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotent.
Okay. Now it's time for handshakes and hugs. So we'll greet each other. And if you're not a hugger, put your hand out.
Welcome. We heard you were coming, and my name is Debbie. I serve on the board with Cindy. And I was actually in Fort Thompson yesterday too. Wasn't it beautiful up there yesterday? Did you enjoy it? Have you been to the Northwest? This is our peak season, so I hope you enjoy it. Hi, good morning.
I spent some time down there in Henderson. 8 years. I'm familiar with the wonderful word it's a right. In the summertime, I always like to go up to Mount Charleston and it's fresh and cooler.
Good morning. Well, I'm still above ground. That's about all I can say. Okay. Looking at your lovely wife, I know who you are now. I don't see what I tell my wife, I can still drive, I just can't see. You're so funny. Too many tourists. Oh yeah, this too shall pass.
start my day with peace, when I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I start my day with joy, when I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy, when I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy.
Today's daily word, divine order. I am divinely imprinted with all that I need to succeed. I love that. An acorn carries within it the imprint of its destiny to become a mighty oak tree. Within me lies the imprint of my heart's desires and the imprint of my sacred lineage. Spiritual order proceeds from within to the outer. I reflect on the divinity that permeates me, my source of strength and new ideas. As clearly as I see the potential of the oak tree and the acorn, I see all that I desire to be and to have rising from the divine imprint in me. My faith in God life moving through every cell of my being propels me ever forward, first as the idea, then as the expression. I do not worry about when or how the process unfolds. I trust divine order in my life. From Mark 4, verses 26 and 27. The kingdom of God is as if someone would scatter seeds on the ground, and the seeds would sprout and grow. He does not know how. Today, I am divinely imprinted with all that I need to succeed. God bless us.
This is one of my favorite ones that we do.
Cradle me, carry me gently together, together forever, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Cradle me, carry me gently together, together forever, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Cradle me, carry me gently together, together forever, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
I love Mark Welch songs. I love Mark Welch. So now it's time for our most beautiful speaker.
Wait.
Great, thank you. No, don't be
This is a Mary Chapin Carpenter song that I did at the church on Trenton Avenue years ago. So I pulled it back out and thought it'd be good to do again. This is dedicated to Jesus.
How could that?
Deep in voice in your head on a dark, lonesome highway that finds you instead. So certain it knows you, you can't turn away. Something or someone has found you today. Jesus or genius, maybe he saved us. Who would believe us? I can't really say. But ever the falling, followed him knowing there's no other way. There's innocent preachers, readers of dreams. The righteous now loudest and saved rise to sing. The lonely and just are just waiting to hear. Purpose will be perfectly clear. That life would be more than their name on the door. Far distant shore that's so near. They hear the calling, sounding and falling. Followed it knowing there's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. I don't remember a voice on the dark, lonesome road when I started the journey so long ago. I was just trying to outrun the noise. There was never a question of having a choice. Jesus or a genie, maybe they saved me. Who will believe me? I can't really say. But ever and falling, numbing and falling, followed him knowing there's no other way. Jesus or genie, maybe seen me. Who would believe me? I can't really say. But ever and falling, tumbling and falling, followed him knowing there's no other way. There's no other way.
Okay, now it's time for the Queen. And I just want to tell you something that Sally pointed out. The last time I did platform, her and Jamie were doing music, and Joanna was doing the speaking. And the invisible memo that went out to all those that wore blue. Welcome, Joanna.
My goodness. Thank you. It's great to be back with you. How is everybody? Good. Oh, is everybody? How are you? No.
How are you?
It's good to see you. Are you enjoying summer? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it just beautiful? Now, see, you're Laura. Is it Lori? Laura, you're visiting
Laura.
from. Now
Las
we're
Vegas.
glad to have you here,
Thank you.
and we know you're enjoying this cooler weather. There's just one thing we ask: don't tell anybody. Okay? Thank you. Well, when I was thinking about what I wanted to bring today, you guys have a Course in Miracles group, don't you?
Yes.
I was doing the Course in Miracles with the group last week, and we were on this chapter called Finding the Present. And it's been churning in me ever since. You know how it does with the Course. It kind of grabs a hold of you sort of like this sometimes. The Course in Miracles, I've been studying it since about 1978, and it's one of those books that sometimes I keep it under my pillow and other times I throw it across the room. Anyway, I'm going to share with you this little excerpt from it so that we can get into it a little bit. It says, if you remember the past as you look upon your brother, you will be unable to perceive the reality that is now. You consider it natural to use your past experience as the reference point from which to judge the present. Nobody does that here, do you? No. Yet this is unnatural because it is delusional. When you have learned to look on everyone with no reference at all to the past, either his or yours as you perceived it, you will be able to learn from what you see now. For the past can cast no shadow to darken the present unless you are afraid of light. And only if you are would you choose to bring darkness with you, and by holding it in your mind, see it as a dark cloud that shrouds your brothers and conceals their reality from your sight. Did you get that? And this darkness is in you. The Christ has revealed to you now, the Christ as revealed to you now has no past, for he is changeless, and in his changelessness lies your release. For if he is as he was created, there's no guilt in him. No cloud of guilt has risen to obscure him, and he stands revealed in everyone you meet because you see him through himself. To be born again is to let the past go and look without condemnation upon the present. The cloud that obscures God's Son to you is the past, and if you would have it past and gone, you must now see it not. Well, I read that and I thought, wow, that's big. I can't do that. Well, maybe. Well, with some people, yes, I can. But for those of us that have histories of abuse, that's not easy to do, is it? It sounds like it's probably the right thing to do, but it's not an easy thing to do. And so I started wondering why that is. Why, you hear me say every time I come in here that we have to let go of the past. We have to let go of the past. And it's like, why is that so hard? And I started thinking about it. And one of the things that I believe makes it hard is that in our culture, we teach us from the time we're children to remember the past. And in fact, when we go to school, what is it that we're learning? It's the past. What are we memorizing? Dates from the past. Battles, wars, conflicts from the world, from the United States, right? Do you remember having to memorize those things? Wondering why, but we do. That was how we got through history, wasn't it? American history, world history, it's all about the conflicts of the past. We grow up from the time we're little ones memorizing the past. And Jesus says as we continue to memorize the past, so do we bring forth the same issues, the same challenges, the same problems. So we live in a culture that says it's about the past, how we get through school, how they give us a diploma so we can get on with our lives, means we have to bring forward the past in order to do it. Now, can we just forget everything and say we didn't learn anything from the past? Well, of course there are lessons that we've learned, but for some reason, the way we do school, it isn't about that, is it? It isn't about what we learned from those conflicts, is it? We learn about the details of the conflict and we memorize the name and the date of the conflict, but do we learn the lesson from the conflict? No. And what would be more valuable than that? So that we don't repeat our mistakes. Did any of you see the last Michael Moore film. I think it was something about who are we going to invade next or something.
Oh.
Do you remember? If you haven't seen it, I will recommend it to you. It's quite good. It doesn't matter what your politics are about that. It's really quite good. But one of the segments in there is he goes into a school in Germany. Do you remember this? And he's talking to some of the students there, and the students are telling him how in Germany, in school, they teach about the Nazis and about the Third Reich and about Hitler, and they teach about it not to memorize the dates and the conflicts, but to teach them what happened there and the choices that were made there so that they never make the same mistakes again. And I was so impressed with that. It was like, wow, how important is this? Because maybe they do it differently now, but way back when I was in school, they never taught us about the mistakes that the United States has made over the centuries, over the time we've been a country, because we've made a lot of them, haven't we? We never learn in terms of those mistakes so that we can be lifted up and grow, so that nobody died in vain. It's not about making us wrong. It's about studying and learning from what we did so that we can grow and make better choices that serve us all, that lift us all up. And so when you think about how it is that we learn in our world and in our culture, and especially in our own country, it's easy to see how it's difficult to let go of the past, because everything we've been taught is to hang it on, to bring it with us. And again, it's not by learning from that past. It's just memorizing the dates. What is it, rearranging the chairs on the Titanic? And so you and I have an important task before us. It really is time to let go of the past so that we can make a new beginning here, now. Because until we do, the past colors our experience. God bless you. And it says here is that, and this was the part that I found really interesting about this. Well, I paraphrased it. I see this person as who they have been in my experience, and by doing so, it calls it forth in them now. Do you get that? If I continue to hold that person as the person who did what they did, that calls that forth in them now. Understand the deeper truth about them and speak to that place. It will either send them away because they are not at that place to accept it, or they will allow it forth. Do you get that? Questions or comments about that? Because that's big. So I'll give you an example because I've really been looking at this. You know, you've heard me talk before about my history and my history of abuse and with my father and that. My father's now 95, and he lives in and he is independent living in a facility in Ohio. So he's far away from me, but we talk on the phone almost every day or every other day. And I have found that I'm really working on all the time, letting the past go so that I can be present. And what I have noticed is that when we get into a conversation and I'm coming from that place of the past, of blame and resentment and anger and all of that, pretty soon we'll be in a little argument, or in our conversation, or we'll be in a little like this. It never fails. But if I'm coming from a place of just talking to this 95-year-old man who I share a history with, that it's not about all the negative stuff, but it's about the fact that, this person brought me into the world. And all that stuff and he's not that person anymore. He's a 95-year-old man waiting to die. He's lonely, he's tired, he's bored, he's scared, he's all of those things. And so when we have a conversation that's just about, the weather or his tomato plants that he's growing or whatever it is, or I'm sharing with him something that's happening for me, he's very friendly, he's very present, he's very understanding. So coming from what's true in this moment of now, because honestly, that is the only moment we have. If we can be present with that, if we can allow it, when I can go there, we have a very pleasant conversation. And I can appreciate him for who he truly is. It isn't about all that stuff anymore. Now, does that mean that all that stuff was okay? No, it does not. Does it mean that I'm accepted, that I think it's okay for abusers, that, no. But does it do me any good to continue to live in that place, from that place? No. And that's what the Course is trying to share with us here. And that's what we have to get, because we're living in a very conflicted world. We're living in a world of a lot of angry, resentful people. Have you noticed? Yeah. So I'm going to make a comparison here that you may not have expected. Have any of you seen the movie Wonder Woman?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen a new one.
The new one? The one that's just come out? Have you seen it? Did you like it? It's awesome. Now, I didn't go see it when it was first out because I don't go to those superhero things, and I don't like violence, and I don't like everything blowing up. It's not my thing. I don't want to be entertained by violence. I think that's a big problem in our world. And so I don't go to that stuff. So I did not go to this movie. But I had about 6 people, different people at different times, come to me and say, you need to see this movie. You need to see this. I'm going, really? Yeah, you do. Okay. So I saw it yesterday. At the end of it, I was crying. Tears were just shooting out of my eyes. I was just, whoa. I mean, I do recommend it. If you don't do violence, you'll be able to kind of get through it. Yeah, there's a lot of violence. You know why? Because they had to make a movie like that to get people there to see it, to get the message. Sad but true. So it's very noisy, and there's all kinds of blowing things up, and just like all the superhero movies. But the point is she was the woman who plays Wonder Woman, and you see her from the time she's a child until she grows up. And she's a very conscious being, and she's a very aware person, and she's watching what's happening and what she's learning, and at the end of it, she comes to understand the human experience. And she makes a statement. She says that she understands now why she's there, because she thought that that she's a superhero and she's the daughter of Zeus. She didn't understand she was the daughter of Zeus until the end, but she realizes she's the daughter of Zeus, so she has God energy in her, and that she's come to save the world. And when she tried to do that, it didn't work. And what she came to understand is that it wasn't about her saving the world. It was coming to understand the dichotomy of the human condition. She said there's both light and dark. And she said a superhero cannot fix that for anyone, because as humans, we come to have the experience of light and dark, and we have to choose. We have to choose moment to moment, and isn't that our task? And so she said, I can't do that for you. I can't do that for them. And her brother, who was the dark side of the combination, he told her, he said, those humans aren't worth saving. Look what they do. Look at how they kill each other and they tear up the world. They're not worth it. But she realized, she said, oh, yes, they are. There's light in there. There's love in there. And that's my task, is to point that out, to be aware of it, to bring it forth, in myself and to call it forth in the others. And I'm going, okay, now there's the connection. Now see, where can you go to get a comparison between the Course in Miracles and Wonder Woman? Hard to find. But you see what I'm saying there? That's what Jesus is trying to tell us in the Course. Yeah, all that stuff happened. No, it was not okay. But it's how you got to be who you are. Do you wish it on anybody else? No. Would you want to go through it again? No. But it is how you got here. Why? Because we are of the light, but we come into this human experience to claim it, and to claim it, we have to experience other than that. That's the relative world, isn't it? That's the identity of this interesting planet on which we live and have our being. And even when Jesus was here, and when all the master's teachers were here, did they have experience of darkness? Oh, you bet they did. And that's what bursts them forth to be able to turn around and look at us and say, who you really are is light. Who you really are is love. Claim it. Choose it. Does that wipe out the darkness in the world? No, but it helps us get more clarity about our choice and what we can expect for the experience in our life when we make that choice. We all have challenges going on. I'm willing to bet if we have everyone file up here in front of us, each one of us has got a pretty good challenge going on. Is that true? At least one. Some of us have several. Some of us feel like we're in the circus doing a juggling act and haven't quite figured out how to get that third one. So what are we doing here together? Why do I bring up the Course? Why do I bring up Wonder Woman? Because to remind myself and you and all of us together that we have what it takes to deal with whatever those challenges are. And wow, it's not a moment too soon to get that, is it? You and I have what it takes to deal with whatever it is. Whether it's a health challenge, whether it's a financial challenge, whether it's a relationship challenge, whether it's a combination, because I've been seeing a lot of combinations. How about you? Wow. And then we look around at our world and see the challenge there. And what I was reminded of when I was looking at Wonder Woman yesterday was she had to deal with, this was during the time of World War II, and she was trying to get the leaders to understand what needed to happen, and they didn't. They couldn't understand why there was a woman in the room. How'd she get in here? Wow. But in many ways, that's where we still are. In many ways. So we can't look at our leaders and expect them to just figure it out. It isn't going to happen. We have to figure it out ourselves. Every day, in each moment of now. And the first thing we have to understand is that that's all we have is now. It doesn't matter what happened in 1862 or 1776 or 1865 or whatever. The only way it has any importance is if we get the lesson from it. And so far we haven't done that. So let's leave it alone and move forward. Look for the light and the love in the moment, because I promise you, underneath all the rhetoric, all the bluster, all the bullying, all the lies, underneath it are scared people who feel very much alone. And the only thing they know to do to counteract that loneliness is to grab for power and control. If I control it, it's not going to hurt me. It's not going to get me. Right? Right? Questions or comments about that? And so rather than being terribly, what's the word? depressed or discouraged about what you're seeing and hearing out there, use that energy to come back in here and begin looking at, how am I the light in this moment? How do I choose to be that love in this moment? What can I do right in my own circumstance, in my own house, with my own situation, whatever that is, because that's always the place to start. Because in doing so, you're adding more light in the world. What feels like it's kind of going this way right now, when you choose that light and love in your own experience, and when I do too, we start to balance it a little bit. How is that true? We're all one. We're all connected. Do you believe that?
Yes, absolutely.
Isn't that what we've been told forever? And all the religions say the same thing. If you boil every single one of the religions down, they all say the same thing. We're all one. And so if you and I are contributing to that balance, what's going to start happening? What does Jesus say in the Course? If you look at someone as the now, as the truth of now, what are you going to call forth in them? The truth of now. And if you're looking at it from the place of anger and resentment, from the past, from our abusers, and we look out there and say, yeah, there's another one, what are we going to call forth? More abuse. We are powerful beings, my friend. That's the point. That's the Jamie just bought this. Can you tell? It's brand new. It just came from Amazon. Can you notice? He's looked at this a few times, hasn't he?
Every time I look at that, I'm just amazed at the way it looks.
So,
Is it?
That actually says Jesus on the front.
It's
I've
a
never
Course
seen
in
one that
Miracles
says that.
that survive.
that's right.
I've never seen one say that on the front.
This is Jesus on the front.
I've never seen
That's
that on
pretty
the
cool.
front of any of them.
Did you make that? Did you put that on there?
No, I got it from Australia.
Oh, it's an Australian version. Well, they figured it out before we did, didn't they?
I've got a lot of different copies of it since the 70s.
Yes.
And
I never saw that.
seen
I never did either. But the point is, whether it's the Bible or the Course in Miracles or the Quran, Conversations with God, whatever book you're looking at, whether it's Emily Cady's Lessons in Truth, whatever it is of those books that contain truth in them, what makes them truth is that they say to us and remind us, we are all one. We're all part of the one. And what is that one? That one is life itself. It's the essence of life. It's the essence of love. Each and every one of us has that barcode. If you look at the tag on the back of each one of us, it says, from the one. An expression from the one. Made in the universe, or in heaven, or whatever you want to name that energy. And that's what we have to remind each other and ourselves. Number one, when we get up in the morning and look in the mirror, can you do that? Can you say, oh, there's my part of the one. It's not about, well, there it is again. Well, I think this one's a little, I'm noticing my one eye is smaller than the other. And it's just, you know, if I let it, it can just bug me. But you see what a huge distraction that is from seeing past the fact that one eye is smaller than the other, to looking at those eyes and what eyes those are that are looking back at me. Don't we all get caught up in the bags under the eyes rather than seeing the truth of us, which is what eyes those are looking back at us? We miss the miracle. we miss the truth of us. I wonder if I should have that surgery that lifts my eyelid, so I can look like this. I miss the point, don't I? The point is whether I have sagging bags under my eyes, or my eyelids are drooping, or there's one's bigger than the, or whatever it is. The truth of it is the eyes that are looking back at me are the eyes of the eternal. The eyes of love, the eyes of life, the eyes of oneness. And we live in a world that's all about the distractions. So it's easy to forget. So that's why this community becomes so important, more important all the time. Just because it's a focal point for remembering the truth of who we are together, that we remind each other when we forget. With our songs, with the daily word, with the speakers that come to share with you. That's the value of it. There's lots of other ways you could spend Sunday morning. I'm sure somebody's having a nice brunch someplace, right? We could all meet there. But why? We could sleep in. Why do we come here? Because in this community, as we hug each other, as we listen to the music, as we read the daily word, as we listen to the speakers, the opportunity is to get the reminder of the truth of who you are in this moment of now, no matter what's going on out there. And it's getting interestinger and interestinger. So this connection is more and more important. And as people get scared, they very often hold on tighter, don't they? They get louder, don't they? Sometimes they can get much more defensive. They can push harder. And so the strength that we muster in our awareness, in our knowingness, in our allowance, in our connectedness becomes even more and more important. It's writing that balance. And everything you do that claims the light begins to write the balance for everyone. Do you get that? Does your heart tell you that's true? Anyone have anything they want to say about that? Yes.
What's in mine is recently I was at my neighbor's, which is Filipino, so there was all Filipinos there. And big TV screen, and it was on the Filipino channel. And it had Miss Universe, who was Miss Philippines. And what her comment was something about, it was a lot of work, and she's just gorgeous. And but later what it was she said, and here she is just glowing. And all she said with all this coming at her was, if you could only see what I see. And she was looking at the love and the people and the oneness out there. And that was her words when all this was coming, and she was supposed to feel all this about, her. She was just looking through the eyes of love, which was why shine so far. And I knew that what she meant when she said it was a lot of work. At first I thought to get to where she was, but it was to get to where she was inside.
Yeah, to get to the awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Out of the mouth of babes, huh? And if we're listening, it's always there. If we're listening, if we're looking for that. Yes, Marilyn?
Well, earlier on, I came to recall the part in the Bible where Jesus in his baptism, and then the dove came down and God said, this is my son with whom I am well pleased. God is saying that all the time to every one of us when we look in the mirror. That's God inside looking. I'm well pleased with you.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Indeed, thank you. And we came in that way. That's part of the tag too.
Who made it?
If we look at our tag, God is saying, and I'm well pleased with you. There isn't anything you have to do. that could get you more loved and accepted than you are right now, than the way you came in. Think of the money you could have saved had you known this or been aware of this.
Good tattoo.
Good tattoo.
Right there in the back.
Yeah, indeed, because it's the truth. It's already there. It's already there. And that's the thing. Why is it so difficult out there? It's because the world at this point, so it seems, is being led or being run by folks who don't know that, who haven't remembered that, who aren't aware of that. Do they have the same tag? Yes, they do. But they're not aware of it, and we can relate to that because I'm willing to bet it's true for me, might be true for you, that I've had moments where I don't remember that. I've had a lot of them. And I've made choices out of fear and doubt and resentment because I wasn't remembering. Well, what we have in our world are folks who are in a position to affect a lot of people's lives because of the kind of wealth they have, because of the stature where they happen to be, in terms of control and power and all of that. They have the abilities with the choices they make, good, bad, or indifferent, affect a lot of people. And when they look back in the mirror, they most likely are not seeing the truth of them. That's why they have to have control and power. That's why they're willing to do anything or to hurt anyone to get it. And so you and I, there's a thought that people, what we need to do is we need to gather our forces and get in there and fight with them. Because we haven't learned the lesson from all the generations that have done that. Did that work? No. Has it ever worked? No. Might quiet things down for a little while, but is it ultimately the answer? No. We have to do things differently. And wow, that takes some trust. That takes some willingness. Because you don't see it out there as much. It's louder than Miss Universe, who says, we're all one. It's still louder than that. I'm sure a lot of people like you heard it. And we need lots more of those messages. And as I said, they're always out there. As Wonder Woman said, there's light and dark. But the humans have to make the choice in each moment of now, which they are, which they're going to be, which they're going to bring. That's the task. And if we mess up in a moment, that's okay. Choose again. I haven't said this for a long time, but I'm sure someone else standing up here has. You know what the word sin comes from. It's an archery term. It means missing the mark. It doesn't mean here's your ticket to condemnation. You're done here. It means missing the mark. That means choose again. Choose again. So let's take a moment now. It's such a beautiful moment. And we've had these mornings, I know we have on Whidbey, and I bet you have too, where we start out with a marine layer. It's gray. We've had several of those mornings. And you think, oh no. But it's that gray, and actually I find it kind of comforting. That gray morning, it's just kind of cool and that. And so it kind of represents, the part of us that forgets sometimes. And then and then when the marine layer starts to go, it goes pretty quickly, doesn't it? It just starts to kind of roll, and then the clouds part, and there's the sun and that blue sky. Amazing sky. In this moment of now, if you have a situation you're dealing with, if you're having a challenge that you're dealing with, let's close our eyes. And if it feels okay, you do what you want to do. But I'm going to make this suggestion that as we're taking this time together, that you take that situation and put it into those clouds, that marine layer that's come in, just like it did early this morning. Say you got up early, it was, 5:30, 6 o'clock. And I think the marine layer, at least where I was pretty tight, thick in. And put that situation or that challenge right there as if it's that marine layer, right over you. And if it feels comfortable, close your eyes and just breathe with it. Just be aware of it. You know what it is. Nobody needs to tell you. Nobody else needs to know. It's between you and you. And as you're aware of that, and we're very familiar with those shades of gray. Now, our friend who's visiting Cindy may not, but we can help her. Those shades of gray, that kind of heavy, like the clouds are heavy. Let that represent this situation for you, this challenge for you. It's kind of heavy. It's kind of weighing heavy right now. And if you were all alone to deal with it, well, it would be pretty heavy. If it was dependent on your thinking and your awareness just by yourself, it would be pretty heavy. So breathing deeply, as deep as you can. Breathe from your belly button. And then breathe from your knees. And then breathe from your toes. Breathing and allowing, that's our task. Breathing and allowing. And as you breathe, let's consider this idea that the eyes that are looking back at us are the eyes of love. The eyes of God, the eyes of all that is. The eyes of divine essence. Whatever you name that truth of you. Breathing and allowing. And being reminded that you're not alone in this circumstance. That whatever it is, the health challenge, the money concern, the relationship issue, whatever it is, you're not alone. You've got that barcode, you've got that tag on the back of your neck that says, I am of the oneness. And in me, God is well pleased. And that divine essence expresses through me as I breathe, as I acknowledge it, as I say yes. Because I have to say yes. It's always a choice. And so in this circumstance, in this scenario, in this whatever's going on, I choose to remember my oneness in divine light, in divine love, in divine order, and therefore it has a way in, a window in to this circumstance. I breathe and allow its expression into this, what's going on for me. And I'm not alone. And choosing it, allowing it, there's a new perspective. There's a new possibility. There's a new idea, maybe something you had never thought of. If it's a healing thing, remember that God, that love, that divine order is in the illness, the sickness, the tumor, the arthritis, the whatever it is. If it's a money situation, remember it's God's money. It's not yours. It's God's. Divine One, show me. Show me what to do. it's yours. If it's a relationship thing, remember, we're all God in expression. Call it forth. Call love forth. Call divine light forth. Express through this situation, through this conflict, through this misunderstanding. Open the doors and windows to the all that is. For as we do that, all things are possible. And it may be, well, something you never considered. For God's vantage point is so much larger than ours. The divine sees it all. Let that vision move through your circumstance, your life, your being in this moment of now. Choose it. Choose it and be reborn. And from this holy place, from this sacred place of awareness, there may be others who could use this reminder right now. Someone may come to mind, may come to heart, and if you feel like it and feel comfortable, feel free to say their names aloud right now. And I have been reminded that there is a couple that's missing in Canada. And you can say,
There is a couple, her name is Sophie and his name is Greg. And the mother contacted me to help find the couple. And the Canadian government doesn't really want to do anything. They only give them like 3 people. And they're from Australia. And they need our prayers to find the couple. They only found the backpack and a shoe in the water and a pair of sunglasses on a rock. So I think we need to pray so they'll be found.
Yes. So we hold Sophie and Greg and the people who are looking for them, and Sophie and Greg's family, and thank you for bringing it to us. And anyone else who can use that light, the power, the presence, the almighty of the divine, bringing it forth and into our world, into our country, into all the countries, into the leadership of all the countries, into all the people. The reminder that we're all one. All forms of life in this moment of now are lifted up in this blessing. And for the opportunity to be reminded, we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
This is a song that Jamie and I have done before. I think it really follows very well after Joanna's talk. I think Jamie has something to say about it.
I just wanted to dedicate this to my wife and to everybody because it goes well with the talk.
It's a song written by John Denver, and you may recall the recording that he and Placido Domingo did. It was so beautiful, and that's where it just got to me, and it's just a beautiful song. Perhaps Love. Perhaps love is like a window, resting place, shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort. It is there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memories of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer. It wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memories of love will see you through. Oh, love for some is like a cloud, some as strong as steel, for some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. And some say love is everything, some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain, like a fire when it's cold outside and thunder when it rains. If I could live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love would be of you. Oh, love for some is like a cloud, for some as strong as steel, for some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. And some say love is everything, some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain, like a fire when it's cold outside, thunder when it rains. If I could live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love would be of you.
Thank you. Now it's time for our offering. And feel free to light candles as
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
Debbie, would you like to come up and represent the chaplains? Well, either one of you.
I didn't know who she was talking to.
Together we dedicate these gifts in service to the highest mission, recognizing and celebrating our oneness with God. We joyfully and freely participate in the law of circulation, of giving and receiving, knowing God is source, the source of all good, and we are grateful.
Thank you. We have our Food for Life bag. Is there anybody that would like to take it this week and bring it back next week? Okay, Joe, thank you. Okay, and now it's time for the good news. Is there anybody that wants to start us out with some good news this week? That's something good that's happened?
We are alive.
Yes, yes, that is very something to be grateful for. Well, I am just grateful because I'm here, and that's the good news.
Nora?
Okay, your Grandpa Don?
I'd like to say.
You want me to tell him? It's not sad, all right? Friday night, I took him to the VFW, and his son-in-law came. He invited his son-in-law, and his son-in-law had dinner with him, and they had a long talk. They spent almost 3 hours together, and they've never done that before.
Oh, thank you, God.
When I visit my daughter, I tell Bonnie hello and I tell him goodbye. He's never talked to me.
But he was happy.
Sweet.
I just wanted
Of course, I had to work.
I just wanted to say, my car wouldn't start after church last Sunday.
Oh, no.
So, I took it to Les Schwab to make sure it wasn't the battery. The battery was fine. And then I called the place where I bought this car, the trade store, and my old mechanic was there. And he answered the phone, and I was like, so I took it to him the next day. It's like, whoa.
Okay, do we have Jay?
He's indisposed at the moment.
Oh.
Nature calls, we must answer. So we'll just carry on.
Okay, then we will do our peace song.
I'll stand. Stand? I'll stand, yeah, like this. I gotta hit one. Thank you.
Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all